Okay, we're going to move on to OP-4. It's a fairly straightforward drawing, but later on we're going to need something called a 45-degree projection plane to find certain views and lines, and we'll get into that into the next video. So let's move over to the CAD screen and get started. So as always, we want to make sure we at least set up a zero layer and a hidden line layer. Those are two things you're going to need, and we'll decide if we dimension it later. So the first thing we'll do is make sure we're in our zero layer. We'll start right here at 0, 0, and we'll draw that first setup line. And the same thing goes for the horizontal line. Okay, next step, figuring out our perimeter of our front view. Let's take a look. So it looks as if the total width of the front view is 2.5, and it looks like the total height is 2.25. So let's first offset 2.5 for our width, and offset 2.25 for the front view height. Okay, as always, we'll separate our views, top and side, by 1.5 inches. So offset 1.5. Okay, the next step is to figure out our total width of our top view. So it looks like we offset back 3.25, 3.25. And that same measurement is going to be set up for our side view. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is zoom out and get rid of some lines that might confuse us later on. So by clicking and dragging or clicking on each individual line, you're able to trim these out, get rid of the lines here in the center, and then we'll get rid of what's left over here. Okay, so there's some information we need to show in the front view, but we can't really find that yet until we start working on our side view. And what we mean by that is this angle right here. So I can really only figure this out from building the side view, so that's where we're going to go next. This angle right here doesn't tell you the angle, but it does tell you the endpoint to endpoint for connecting. So I'm going to offset this line 2.25 and offset this bottom line up 1.25 and connect the endpoints. So let's give that a try. Offset forward 2.25 and then offset up 1.25. Okay, now that we have that, we can draw a line and we connect endpoint to endpoint. And now that we've had that all set up, we can trim out things we don't need, such as this line tag and this line tag. And now we can get rid of this and this. Okay, once we have that, we can now project over this object line. Make sure ortho is on, so it's a straight projection. And again, you could trim that as well. Okay, now that we have this object line, we can figure out this channel that's cut through. Okay, so let's do that. It's saying that this line here is 3/4 of an inch down. So offset 0.75. And then the total width of that is 1.25. So we'll offset 1.25. Now we can trim away things we don't need. And obviously these two lines we can't trim. That one you want to keep. This one we get rid of. Okay, so there's that channel. Now the one thing we haven't found yet is the circle. So we're going to have to use the center point here to figure out where the circle is. So it's 1 inch over and 1.25 up, and it says that's a 3/4 diameter. So let's go ahead and do that in the side view. So offset 1.25 up. And then 1 inch over. Okay, once we've established that center point, we're going to draw a circle and we're going to latch right onto this intersection. Now, by default, it's asking for radius, so you're going to type D in the command line, D for diameter, and then you're going to say you want it to be 3/4 in diameter. There it is. Now that we're done with that, we can get rid of our center point setup. And the last thing we'll do is change over to our hidden lines and project these over into our front view. To show that that circle is cut all the way through. Okay, so now we'll get rid of these lines and get rid of the extra tags we don't need. Now we'll start working on our top view, and obviously we have to go back to this to show this channel is cut through the top. Again, that's going to be another hidden line, so I should go back to that layer, and I'm going to project that straight up all the way through, and then I can trim what I don't need, and then get rid of this extra line. Now there's certain things I can't find just yet. I haven't been able to find that line which shows this plane that's at an angle, and I can't find the hidden lines. So that concludes the first part of OP-4. The next video we're going to show you about what a 45-degree projection plane is and how to use it.